Hi, in this video today I'm going to show you some interesting things on the PlayStation 5 and I'm hoping there's going to be at least one or two that you don't already know. So sit back and enjoy. Player indicator lights. Player 1, Player 2, Player 3 and Player 4. But when you play a PlayStation 4 game, it lights up in the PlayStation 4 colours. Player 1, Player 2, Player 3, how nice does that look? And Player 4. And if you think you recognise those colours, you're right. Exactly the same as the PlayStation 4 controllers, and they're taken from the buttons here. Player 1, Player 2, Player 3 and Player 4. Now watch the microphone mute buttons. When you're connecting up more than one controller to the PlayStation 5, obviously only one microphone is going to work at any time. So if you wanted to use this one here, as soon as we unmute this one will go on to mute. And if we unmute this one will go on to mute. We of course can mute both of them, but only one microphone will work at any one time. Not only do we have the PlayStation button symbols on the controller, we also have it on the inside of the console. So these are the ones on the controller. And here is the console. So we know that you can mute and unmute the microphone by just tapping this button here. But if we hold it down for just over a second, it will actually mute the TV. And it doesn't just mute the TV, it mutes the PlayStation 5 itself. So now look, if I do anything on the TV, it doesn't make a bit of difference because it's the PlayStation 5 that has been muted. This will work exactly the same for headsets in here and also USB headsets from the PlayStation 5. Everything is muted when we hold this button down here. And you can see it's just kind of pulsing to let you know. And then when we tap it, it goes off. Hold it down again and it comes back on. So it's not tapping it, you have to hold it. If you want to turn on or off the text-to-speech, then we need to go over to settings up in this top right here. And we need to go to accessibility. And then we can go to screen reader and go over here. And where it says enable screen reader, just turn it off. And then you can also turn it on. You can change the voice type to male and female. And interestingly enough, when you're setting up the console for the first time, if you leave it idle for 60 seconds, it will automatically enable the screen reader, which is going to be useful if your eyesight is impaired. Now the easiest way to pair up another second, third or fourth DualSense controller on the PlayStation 5 is just to use a USB-C cable in the front here and connect it to a USB on the actual console. But let's just say you haven't got a cable or it's broken and you want to connect it up wirelessly. We can do that. So get yourself a working controller and go up to settings. And we need to go down to where it says accessories. And then we need to go over to Bluetooth accessories. Now we need to put the controller we want to pair up into pairing mode. So this is the same process for also a PlayStation 4 controller. So we're going to hold down this share button up here and the PlayStation button at the same time. It's easier if we use this one first and then the PlayStation button. Hold them down for about 2 or 3 seconds, keep them held, and you can see now it's gone into pairing mode because it's flashing. Now have a look down here. Can you see that we've got wireless controller at the very bottom? So again, get your working controller and work your way down to there, press X and then press yes to register it. And then you will see now that this one here is registered. You can see player 2 indicator there and player 1 there. Obviously you can eject a disc via the console itself, but you can also eject it via the software. So go to the game that has a disc in, and you can tell this because you can see the little disc symbol there. And then all we have to do is hit this options button or menu button, and then we're going to go down to where it says eject disk and press X. And now if you have a look on the PlayStation, you can see the disc has come out. When it comes to using controllers on the PlayStation 5, the only ones that are supported are the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 controllers. But by using things like adapters like the Titan 2, we can get other things to work, but they are very, very limited. So if you have a look, this is the Xbox adaptive controller, and you can see it is working here, but it will only work on PlayStation 4 games. As soon as you go into a game that's a PlayStation 5 game, it will say PS5 games can't be played using the current controller. So it's not a huge amount of use. It's a shame that this can't just work on all consoles nowadays. And if we put a Magic NS adapter into the Titan 2, you can now see that things like the Xbox controller will work wirelessly. But again, it's mimicking a PlayStation 4 controller, so we can't play PlayStation 5 games. And the same thing goes for the PlayStation 3 controller here as well. And you can see it working, but again, not on PlayStation 5 games. If you want to maximise battery life on your DualSense controller, we can go to Settings, we can go down to Accessories, we can go over to Controllers, and here we can lower down the volume for the speaker here. We can turn off or put to weak or medium the vibration intensity, so the haptic feedback. Let's turn that off. And trigger effect intensity is going to be the adaptive triggers here. Again, you can turn that off, weak or medium, or have it strong. You can also adjust the brightness of the indicators here, and you can change the communication method from Bluetooth over to USB if you're detecting any lag in games. Interestingly, it says here that when you're using the microphone, that the intensity would automatically be set to weak on both the trigger effect and also vibration intensity. So there's some nice design features that I just want to touch on. We have to use the stand whether we have it in vertical or the horizontal position. In the horizontal, we're just going to use it like this. When it's vertical, we need to use a screw. Now, there's a chance when we take out this little cap that you're going to lose that cap. But Sony have thought of that. If we rotate this round, it uncovers the screw that you need to use. That can slot in here nicely, so you don't have to worry about using it when it's in the horizontal position. And this little cap can fit perfectly into that little hole there. So then we can put the stand on and screw down into it, and then if we want to use it horizontally, we can put that back on here and put the screw back on here. So it's a nice little touch to save you worrying about losing things like that. So if we flip it over here to where the PlayStation logo is, we have two little lugs on this side and also two little lugs on that side. You can just see them there. Well, that's how easy it is to take off this one here. So don't just whack it. What you need to do is, nice and simply, lift up the corner and look how easy it comes off. That's as simple as it is. And then turn it around the other side and then lift up this corner and then just use a bit of force to push it down. So you don't need to whack this across the room. They're the things that keep it in place, these two things in here. And then all of these just slot into these little bits here. The good thing about this is it allows us to clean the fan. So if you have a look here, they've incorporated two what they would call dust catchers. We have one here and one here, so it allows you to use a gentle vacuum to clean out the dust catchers, and also if you've got anything accumulated around the fan here and here. Also, it gives us access to the storage expansion just under here as well. We have a little sticker that covers up a hole which allows us to manually eject a disc. So if I was to get a screwdriver and put it into the hole here, then I can manually eject the disc if unfortunately the console ever failed and your disc was stuck inside it. So this is a little crosshead screwdriver, and I'm just placing it into the hole here and I'm turning it clockwise down this way, and you will now see as I turn it, you have to turn it for a long time. Eventually the disc will come all the way out and then you can just pull it. You can also put the disc in, but obviously it means you've got something wrong with your disc drive if you're having to do this to get the disc to go back in. So that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed these little things on the PlayStation 5. If you did, give it a thumbs up and think about subscribing. Take care. Bye now.